we worked out, because even if the winds decrease slightly, that doesn't mean the storm's any weaker, right? So we want to make sure to really communicate. Even if you see some fluctuations in the wind, you may see a little bit of fluctuation in the actual forecast track, but either way, this slow movement, I mean, the closer these dots are together, the slower the storm, that's going to produce that torrential rainfall, the dangerous rainfall in the storm surge. So the slow movement is really the big key factor here.
Yeah, and let's talk about that rainfall. I mean, the rainfall total forecast, 20 to 30 inches, is really staggering. How far inland do you think this flood risk extends?
Yeah, that's, the slow movement, we continue to see that. I mean, it's going to take from now, if you look at our forecast track, it's going to take really into Friday before we get this system into Georgia. So as a result, right along the coast, we can see those big time totals of 15 to 20, if not 25 to 30. But even if you slowly move the center northward, even through Friday, some of the inland areas, 6 to 10 inches of rain, that's a dangerous situation because you still have those winds. You can have flash flooding, saturate the soil, and have trees down and power outages even inland.
All right, thanks so much. Ken Graham, Director of the National Hurricane Center. Appreciate that information. So, Carl, yeah, we've been talking about this slow-moving nature of Sally. The winds have been fairly consistent. With it not moving all that much, that could potentially cause some of that upwelling, which would keep it a little steadier in terms of intensity. What are you thinking for the winds here?
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly right. I think that's going to keep a little bit of a lid on the intensity, the fact that you've got some cooler water coming up from below. So certainly hurricane force winds are possible in parts of Mississippi and Alabama and Florida, but one thing to really keep in mind is the duration of the event because, as Ken mentioned, as you've got saturated soils, that's going to allow trees to come down a lot more easily. Now here's one of our high-resolution models showing that eye wall coming in very late tonight into the early morning hours on Wednesday, and then continues up into northwest Florida, going into the middle of the day on Wednesday. So again, a prolonged period of strong wind with heavy rain, and that could easily drop a lot of trees, and then it moves up into parts of Alabama and Georgia beyond that. Let's compare that to the European model, which has consistently been even slower. So looking at the same time frame, here we go into very late tonight, into early Wednesday morning, just after midnight, hasn't moved in all that time. Then into the middle of the day tomorrow, it's starting to come in middle of the day tomorrow, and then finally by the time we get into Thursday morning early, just after midnight on Wednesday, that's when the eye wall comes in. So still some significant differences in the modeling, and remember, you can follow us on Weather Today on Twitter.